Hello, and welcome to this edition of Tech Talk. This is where we bring technical experts from Cisco
to share their insights on specific topics
selectively chosen based on most common conversation themes
on our technology area in community. Our topic for discussion will be
troubleshooting high CPU due to multicast,
understanding Cisco Unified Communications security.
And I've seen this question coming up every now and then.
Very good explanation.
I hope it helps the audience.
Hello, and welcome to Tech Talk here on the Cisco Support Community. My name is Sam Knack. I'm the Community Manager at Cisco. On this edition of Tech Talk, we'll provide you with an introduction to Cisco's Compliance Management and Configuration Service, also referred to as CMCS. Technology is moving quickly and in so many different directions that it becomes challenging to even pay attention. We've become victims of the next new thing fatigue. CIOs need to make these new technologies work together. They're bombarded with that request every day. While employees are clamoring for innovative technologies like Android phones and iPhones, social networking, and cloud computing, CIOs must consider how these two new technologies affect data security and performance of the network and applications, as well as how they fit into the overall enterprise architecture strategy. Every CIO wants to get their heads in the cloud as soon as possible, but many are overwhelmed with having to comply with a plethora of government regulations. It requires them to know a great deal about where their data lies, who can access it, and how it is protected, which is very difficult in the cloud. Action is needed because compliance is emerging as a significant challenge to the growth of cloud computing. Even with these compliance concerns, business and government are rushing to the cloud because it's simpler and cheaper than running a corporate data center. CIOs like the cloud because of its on-demand resources, scalability, predictable costs, and collaboration benefits. Laws requiring that companies respect individual privacy by keeping tight control of their records didn't contemplate the spread of virtual machines. Many countries like Germany have stringent laws which mandate that an individual's records can't be physically kept anywhere outside of Germany, while many other countries require that personal data be protected from access by unauthorized people. Compliance is one reason large enterprises decide they should build private clouds behind corporate firewalls rather than utilizing public clouds. To shed some light on CMCS, joining me today is Mark DOERING, a Senior Technical Marketing Engineer with Cisco Services. His area of expertise include network security, security technologies, and solutions architectures. Mark has over 25 years of experience leading technical engineering teams, integration technologies, security product research and development, as well as in-depth experience in security marketing strategies with lifecycle services. Mark has also participated in the Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineers, the North American Network Operations Group, and the Internet Engineering Task Force. Mark has also achieved security certifications in GIAC and ISC. Welcome, Mark.
Well, thank you, Sam, for that great introduction. I'm excited to be here to talk about what's new in smart services.
And what is new in Cisco Services?
Well, we've come out with something new called CMCS, and that is allowing us to bring regulatory compliance and change management to our customers as a service. Most companies today are having strains in their environment to be able to handle all of the mandates and the governing bodies and how that impacts their networks. Being as their networks are dynamic in nature, they have to make sure that as they deploy new things, that those mandates are taken care of and well understood and articulated in the policies that they're deploying to be able to avoid cascading or even cumulative costs based on a regulatory body and achieving, effectiveness and efficiencies in their network by having the right things built upon to be able to deliver those dynamic services that they have.
And what exactly is that?
Well, to be able to talk about the compliance components, we need to go through what the market domains are. There are basically three that are covered. One would be the regulatory, which most people understand the concepts of it. That would be something like HIPAA, where you have the healthcare mandates that are put upon the healthcare firms to be able to protect the personal information. So there's sanctions and civil fines that are associated with not complying to those. The next would be commercial, where you have things like PCI DSS, as well as the ISO 27001, which allows those customers to be, sustainably responsible for how they're doing retail business and dealing with their trading partners. The last would be organizationally. So most customers' networks, whether they're small or large enterprise or even service providers, have organizational needs on how they deploy policy within their network and how they develop and deploy applications and protect their inherent operational efficiencies within their network. They have corporate responsibility to make sure that they protect and preserve what's in place and to be able to build policy around that.
Okay, so there is a lot of buzz about CMCS, and I was speaking to a friend of mine who happens to be a network security administrator, and he essentially said that CMCS is another version of Prime infrastructure. Can you tell us what solutions CMCS provides and what sets it apart from Prime?
Sure. So it's not an extension of Prime infrastructure. It is not part of that product suite at all. We have developed a service for delivery with our customers through smart services. Prime infrastructure is actually a product that Cisco sells. Now, there are some capabilities that overlap, and in fact, Prime infrastructure uses some of our code to deliver some of the reporting modules for the compliance and auditing capabilities. But that's where it stops. We are actually a completely different code base, and we deliver this based on a service delivery platform that is very different. The modules that are around CMCS fall into four main categories to show the benefits and the strength that we bring to bear through this set of services. The first is configuration management. So within the configuration management, we have, number one, an interface to the network elements, the Cisco devices. We cover pretty much in Cisco, as well as we're opening up and extending this to third-party capabilities today, which we've encompassed within adding June operating system, or JUNOS, to our configuration management. The second would be compliance. So in order to be able to audit, we've associated ourselves with the UCF, which gives us the compliance framework to be able to deliver the compliance needs to our customers, whether it be a regulatory body or within the Cisco IC that gives us the best practices. The third would be the workflow. So being able to deliver this within our network, we need to have the complete life cycle, and having the life cycle gives us the closed loop environment that says if we're going to apply change in our network or we're going to audit and report and remediate, that we need to have a built-in workflow. As well, within this workflow, we have the ability to hand this off to a remedy ticketing system or an existing workflow through APIs that we've built. The last would be the software image management. So being able to maintain, deliver, and back up and restore images as they become available, whether it be a PCERT or vulnerability in an operating system where you need to deploy a large-scale deployment, we need to be able to update those elements in the network with their software images.
This is some pretty exciting stuff, Mark. Could you tell us more about CMCS, specifically how it works and what other components involved?
Sure, Sam. So the service elements that we use to deliver this service start off with an operations manager. So we assign an OM to the customer that is actually an extension of their workflow and their environment or even their IT. And that person acts as the conduit between what the customer's needs are and their requests, the runbooks, the playbooks, and how actually CMCS and its capabilities will be deployed within their site. The second would be the applications and the servers. So we deploy in a variety of ways on the customer's site the capabilities that encompass the CMCS and its capabilities, and all the devices and updates that are being utilized in this are developed and delivered by Cisco and put on premises to be able to handle the service needs. The last would be an optional component, which is a customer engineer that is assigned on different levels. So if the customer needs enhancements in the network where they are very comprehensive in a policy need, deployment models, those activities can be developed as we go along the way and based on demand. So the elements are very important in being able to deliver this with people, process, and applications.
So you had mentioned deployment earlier. How is CMCS deployed in the customer's network?
So we've developed this and we're deploying it within the UCS framework. So we deploy this on a UCS C-Series chassis. And we typically today are putting these on-premise. We do have other ways of deploying this, but putting this UCS C-Series chassis on-premise allows us to have 2 virtual machines running on that chassis. One is the NCCM, which is the policies, the rules, and the applications that are typically mandating what is going to be done in the customer's network. And the second is the CSPC, which is the common services platform that we use for all of our smart services to be able to interact with the network elements and to be able to pull configuration information and push updates, as well as take care of those image transports.
Okay, and what does the application look like to the customer or to the engineer?
So we've developed an application that has many aspects to it. We have perspectives, we have dashboards, we have widgets, we have charts and wizards that we utilize to deliver all of the capabilities. So as the user logs in, the role-based application allows that dashboard to be built by the individual user with all of the needs and the requirements for what they need to deliver. So if I'm a network auditor and I just need to see audit reports, that's what would be on my dashboard for me to be able to bring to bear the strength and the robust capabilities that are in this application today. To be able to push and pull policy for those network administrators, again, you would simply build the dashboard and the entire interface to be able to be utilized by that administrator. The last point in this is, as I said before, we do in fact have an application interface or an API, so anything and everything that you see from within our interface can be accessed through our applications interface.
Great, and of course we want to talk about benefits. What type of benefits can the customer expect?
Yes, so the first is to be able to improve the compliance. So if this is an organizational compliance needs, whether it be comprehensive mandates via a regulatory body or internal aspects for policy controls, we need to be able to have those controls in place, as well as the compensating controls to audit when the requirements are there to be able to have an audit trail. Reconciliation of those changes and the change controls that are put into the network are a huge impact, and they require a lot of mandates. So we as well have that as an improvement in the way that we organize and deliver this service. We want to make sure that we have in-house compliance experts. So being able to bring this interface and these applications into the customer's network to allow them the flexibility and availability of all the regulatory demands, whether it be for commercial policy, industry, customer, custom built, any of those are available, and they get delivered jointly through the service that we have. We want to provide a very tailored service. So our operations manager actually becomes an extension of that customer's delivery and their service. So assigning that customer operations manager to the customer allows them to offer a very flexible and well-defined service and deliver the needs based on the customer's requirements. Assigning that optional customer engineer for requirements when there may be spikes in their network where they deploy a new application, deploy new network elements, a new infrastructure, a new application, something that needs additional heads into their IT organization to develop those new policies. And then to be able to lower the total cost of entry. By delivering this as a service, there are no platform upgrades, there's no portfolio to manage, there are no tools to maintain, there's no need to be brought up to speed as an SME. We have people that are there to come alongside the customer and to be able to deliver this service in a joint effort.
Wow, that sounds like very exciting stuff, Mark. And I thank you for joining us today on Tech Talk and for sharing your expertise with the community.
Thanks for having me today. This has been great to be able to bring CMCS to the forefront.
Yes, thank you. I hope that you found this edition of Tech Talk on Cisco CMCS to be useful, and we look forward to your feedback, which you can submit in the comments section. You may also ask questions and collaborate via our various social media channels. You can also catch us on YouTube, Google+, and LinkedIn. Thank you for watching, and see you next time on another edition of Tech Talk. Bye.